Dr. Mario, the mystifying alter ego of Mario, the hero of the Mushroom Kingdom. Some say he's a heroic MD, out saving the citizens from contagious diseases. Others question the validity of his degree and accuse him of quackery. Is it possible, then, that the Dr. Mario games show that both answers are technically correct? Gnoggin. This video is sponsored by GamesGrabber, a video game collection management and sharing site. Use it to create lists of games you have, games you want, or some of your favorites. You can even follow me on there and check out my collections, such as my favorite games, and even all the equipment I use to make videos. There's a link in the description for you to check it out. In the Dr. Mario series, the player controls Dr. Mario by throwing pills into a sealed bottle and aligning pills and viruses of the same color. Once 4 or more objects of the same color line up, the pill parts and viruses vanish from the bottle. In the real world, this action differs greatly from antiviral medications. Real medications primarily stop viral infections by preventing viruses from multiplying too quickly while inside of a host. In a sense, it kills their sex drive rather than killing them. So eventually they just die out, with the help of your body's natural defenses. So, wait a minute. Hang on. If the pills Dr. Mario are throwing aren't some sort of antiviral medication, then what are they? Curiously, there is actually a type of chemical that destroys viruses rather than just inhibiting their growth. They are known as virucides. Virucides destroy viruses by reacting with them chemically in several ways. Some damage or destroy the envelope or outer shell of the virus. Others stop the virus from replacing its RNA. So if Dr. Mario is using a virucide, which one is it? Well, we'll get to that soon enough. First, let's look at the viruses. Now, obviously the design of the viruses is meant to be cutesy and funny, but they are different from regular viruses in another substantial way: their size. Even granting that the pill is way out of scale when in Dr. Mario's hand for the sake of visual aid during gameplay, the viruses in the bottle must still be enormous. Just to give an idea of scale, the smallest common prescription pill on the market is the 3.125 milligram dose of Carvedilol, a heart medication. According to the National Library of Medicine, these tiny pills are approximately 5 millimeters wide and 6 millimeters long. If Dr. Mario's capsule pills had these dimensions, that would still make the viruses at least 3 millimeters by 3 millimeters in size. This might not seem very big to you or me, but in the microscopic world that viruses reside in, that size is absolutely titanic. Currently, the largest known virus is the ancient pithovirus. This giant of a pathogen measures in a whopping length of 1.5 micrometers. That's half of the width of a typical strand of spider silk. Admittedly, that's still pretty huge for a virus. And even using the optimistically small measurements of the pills I mentioned before, this means that Dr. Mario's viruses are at least 200 times the size of the largest virus we know. And that's astonishing. Another odd thing about these viruses is that in every game we only see the exact same 3 basic type of viruses. What makes this incredibly weird is the fact that viruses mutate at an incredibly high rate, usually due to pieces of the host cell's genetic material being mixed in with the virus's original genetic material while the virus is replicating. Does this mean that the games are lying to us? Don't these issues prove that these are not in fact viruses? Well, not really. You see, despite these viruses not diversifying much like real-world viruses, or matching the size of any known real virus, they still act very much like viruses. In the game, the viruses in Dr. Mario's sealed bottles aren't really doing much. They move a tiny bit, but generally stay in the exact same spot. This differs greatly from the activities of, say, a bacterium, or a protozoan in a contained medium. In either of those cases, the microorganisms would be moving all over the place, eating and reproducing like mad. Viruses, being the ultimate parasitic form, literally cannot function without a host to invade. All they can do is float there, and react chemically with whatever enters their environment. which is exactly what Dr. Mario's viruses do. So what does this mean? It would seem from these facts and insights into the gameplay that Dr. Mario is indeed eradicating mysterious viruses from the Mushroom Kingdom, and yet, something is still missing. Where did these viruses come from, and why do they behave in such a strange manner? To answer this, we need to go back, all the way back to the first Dr. Mario game, the original version for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Upon beating the game with either medium or high speed settings, the player is treated to a short video of the 3 virus types sitting on a small tree. They stare into the night sky for a bit before standing up to greet a UFO. A UFO? The UFO then takes them on board and flies away, leaving a sparkling cloud of dust hanging over the tree. This scene implies that the viruses are extraterrestrial in origin. They literally came from outer space. This revelation actually answers a lot of our questions. In the low-gravity environment of space, the viruses were able to evolve much larger forms than would typically be possible on a planet. They also likely evolved a unique manner of replicating which was incompatible with the biology of the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom, making it difficult for them to reproduce at high rates. The evolution of a unique replication mechanism is not unheard of, by the way. All the way back in 2004, scientists found a species of bacteria called Desulfatuli psychrophilia. This bacteria is unique because it manages to reproduce at temperatures which would freeze most life forms solid. Now, a picture is starting to form. In the midst of a hostile invasion of alien germs, one man donned a lab coat and head mirror, intent on defeating the viruses from outer space. He developed a basic viricide to use and continually experimented to increase its efficiency. Eventually, he perfected it, taking out all but a few lingering infections in the Mushroom Kingdom. To see what happened afterwards, we must turn to story mode in the most unique Dr. Mario game, Dr. Mario 64. In story mode of Dr. Mario 64, the player witnesses flu season overcome a small seaside town. Right on cue, Dr. Mario runs in for the rescue with his amazing Megavitimins. The player sees the Megavitimins kill the alien viruses and apparently cure the townsfolk of the flu. The scene transitions to the nearby beach where a character complains of a severe headache. Dr. Mario swoops in once more, with the game noting that Dr. Mario can cure anything with his Megavitimins. Upon defeating the final boss of story mode, Dr. Mario uses the Megavitimins to cure the final boss's cold as well. Something seems fishy here. As mentioned before, viruses mutate at an incredibly high rate. Both rhinoviruses and influenza viruses undergo major structural and chemical changes as they move throughout the population. That's why it's necessary to have a yearly vaccine for the flu. The vaccine accustoms your body to this year's new kind of flu. With this in mind, the fact that Dr. Mario's Megavitamins are continuing to work is very suspicious. Back when I was listing how virucides worked, one example I gave was that of zidovudine. Zidovudine has been used in the treatment of HIV and AIDS in the past, since it works so effectively at preventing the human immunodeficiency virus from copying its own DNA. Unfortunately, some strains of HIV mutated to become resistant to the medicine's effects. This is possible with any virucide and almost inevitable with even a moderately sized population of hosts being infected. Since we're back on the topic of virucides, let's resume our search for which virucide Dr. Mario might be using. I brought up a few before, namely these ones. Zidovudine has shown some amount of effect with viruses similar to HIV, such as the friend virus, but not with your more average everyday cold virus. So we can rule that one out. Cyanovirin has shown much promise in its reactivity with a wide variety of viruses in the lab, notably various types of influenza and rhinovirus. There's one minor problem though. Thanks to its chemical structure, cyanovirin is a universal allergen. Anyone who is unfortunate enough to have cyanovirin enter their body would likely die very quickly from various tissues undergoing inflammation, and in particular, anaphylaxis. It would not be pretty, so strike cyanovirin off the list too. That leaves us with cyctovirin, which has shown much of the same efficiency against many common viruses as cyanovirin, but with far less potential for an immune response. Does this mean we have a winner? Was Cyctovirin our mystery substance in Dr. Mario's pills all along? It's possible, but I have to admit I have been holding another candidate back. One that is not only incredibly common and easy to find in nature, as opposed to Cyctovirin, which has to be isolated from bacteria, but is also known to be safe for basic consumption. In fact, most people consume an amount of this substance every day as part of a balanced diet. The ability of this substance to rid people of viruses is so well known, in fact, that you may have been told to consume more of this substance the last time you had a cold to get better faster. What substance am I talking about? Ascorbic acid. Vitamin C. Seriously. All the way back in the 1970s, Nobel laureate chemist Linus Pauling openly hypothesized that high doses of vitamin C could prevent people from catching colds. Intrigued by the claim, the National Institutes of Health performed a set of studies revolving around the effects of vitamin C on people. Unfortunately, the studies were not scientifically rigorous enough to have conclusive data on the possibility, but the idea lived on, slipping into popular culture. Really, Linus Pauling just wanted a bunch of money from people buying his vitamins. More recently, scientists have found that vitamin C does have a close connection to the immune system, likely powering one of the plethora of processes that allows the body to defend itself more easily against any type of invader. In other words, vitamin C will not cure your cold, but it does help your immune system fight it back. That was a lot to take in. Yet, considering it all, the alien origin of the viruses, the virucidal properties of the widely available vitamin C, and the effort Dr. Mario made throughout his games to eradicate the alien virus, the final pieces of the puzzle have fallen into place. The story of Dr. Mario is complete. Once upon a time, a terrible event befell the Mushroom Kingdom. An alien disease invaded, with tiny red, blue, and yellow viruses all about. The hero of the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario, found he could not defeat the tiny foes with his usual brute force tactics, and was forced to attack from a very different angle. He put on a lab coat and began his research, becoming Dr. Mario. As Dr. Mario, he experimented with various substances, attempting to find one that could kill the viruses off. Eventually, he found success with vitamin C, perhaps derived from a Yoshi fruit or a roasted Cheep Cheep. And perhaps vitamin C in the Mushroom Kingdom is significantly more powerful. Either way, he then roamed about the land, killing mini-viruses and concentrating the dosage of vitamin C in his capsules until he was victorious. With mini-viruses eradicated, a few retreated back into space, leaving only a small amount behind lingering in isolated pockets. The people, having literally seen the visible viruses eradicated by Dr. Mario's new Megavitimins, sang his praises, believing that this new medicine could cure anything. Perhaps Dr. Mario thought this as well as he roamed the kingdom's lands, treating colds and the flu with his legendary Megavitimins and the powerful accompanying placebo effect. In the end, the man who was once a hero, the great Dr. Mario, collapsed into quackery as he went around treating his patients with basic vitamins and a strong placebo effect. It's not really a happy story, but unfortunately that sort of thing can happen even to the best of people. In his later years, Linus Pauling became a proponent of an alternative medicine treatment called megavitamin therapy, which used doses of vitamins far larger than is safe for human consumption to try and treat conditions as varied as heart disease, arthritis, and high cholesterol. It seems far too appropriate, then, that Dr. Mario, the quack, would call his supplements Megavitimins. So thanks for watching, and remember to always use your noggin. And now that you've watched the video, why not go check out my Games Grabber page? Link in the description. They even have a kudos system, kinda like an achievement system. It's pretty neat. Click the link. And if not, I also have this other Dr. Mario video right here. This action differs greatly from antiviral medications. Real medications primarily stop viral infections by preventing viruses from multiplying too quickly while inside of a host. In a sense, it kills their sex drive rather than killing them. So eventually they just die out, with the help of your body's natural defenses. So, wait a minute. Hang on. If the pills Dr. Mario are throwing aren't some sort of antiviral medication, then what are they? Curiously, they're Dr. Mario, the mystifying alter ego of Mario, the hero of the Mushroom Kingdom. Some say he's a heroic MD, out saving the citizens from contagious diseases. Others question the validity of his degree and accuse him of quackery. Is it possible, then, that the Dr. Mario games show that both answers are technically correct? This video is sponsored by GamesGrabber. A video game is actually a type of chemical that destroys viruses rather than just inhibiting their growth. They are known as virucides. Virucides destroy viruses by reacting with them chemically in several ways. Some damage or destroy the envelope or outer shell of the virus. Others stop the virus from replacing its RNA. So if Dr. Mario is using a virucide, which one is it? Well, we'll get to that soon enough. First, let's look at the viruses. Now, obviously the design of the viruses is meant to be cutesy and funny, but they are different from regular viruses in another substantial way: their size. Even granting that the pill is way out of scale when in Dr. Mario's hand for the sake of visual aid during gameplay, the viruses in the bottle must still be enormous. Just to give an idea of scale, the smallest common prescription pill on the market is the 3.125 milligram dose of Carvedilda. Collection management and sharing site. Use it to create lists of games you have, games you want, or some of your favorites. You can even follow me on there and check out my collections, such as my favorite games, and even all the equipment I use to make videos. There's a link in the description for you to check it out. In the Dr. Mario series, the player controls Dr. Mario by throwing pills into a sealed bottle and aligning pills and viruses of the same color. Once 4 or more objects of the same color line up, the pill parts and viruses vanish from the bottle. In the real world, this